Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. How you doing today, Jacob?
I am swell, Charles, and excited for another episode of the podcast. We pitch new TV shows every single week, new worlds, characters, and thrilling stories, all packaged into these exciting shows and films that we come up with. New ones every single week. We trade titles as well, so you give me a title every week, I give you a title every week, and we have to come up with these show ideas. And Charlie, you gave me a title last week, which was...
Jesus for Mayor.
I'm always amazed that you remember the title that you gave me. It really is...
No, it's written down. I'll be honest with you.
funny.
I have a Post-it card. I have a Post-it note that says titles for Jake, and 4 is the number 4, not the word.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I put stars next to the ones that you have already picked, and I can imagine the thumbnails for The Unknown Persons Need Apply, Scooby-Doo and the Mystery of Cannibal Caverns, and Imbecilic, a Hero of Time. But I can't imagine the Jesus for Mayor thumbnail, which means that we haven't made it yet.
Okay. You don't remember, like, my pitch, you just remember the thumbnail. That's hilarious.
Well, I remember the pitch, but to an extent. But we've done 300 of these episodes. You can't expect me to remember everything.
Yeah.
And I nearly shit my pants because I was like, oh, fuck, was it my turn?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ, do I have a... Because that would be so fucking funny. Because I would be like, this week I decided to do some readings. So I've written some stories and I'm gonna read them. This was the plan the whole time.
Yeah, that's totally intentional.
I would just lie.
I did that one week, I think. I don't know if you noticed. Weeks ago, when we did the Helpo script reading, I just forgot to write a pitch that week and was like, well, I wrote the whole script for Helpo, so maybe we'll read part of it. We never actually did part 2 of that. But at this point, it's so long ago, I don't remember where we were.
Yeah.
So
it would be insane for us to be like, yep, you go back 100 episodes and we're doing a sequel to that.
Yeah. Here's part 2 of the script reading. I don't remember how any of the voices were, so we're just gonna make them up again.
Yeah, off the top of our heads. I mean, shit, we did fucking Punk Rock Vampires Season 2 last week, so really anything's possible.
Yeah, but for a script reading, if you watch it back to back and all of a sudden all the voices are different and we switch characters because we don't remember who was who, and
our audio quality has I'm not gonna say drastically improved, but probably improved. At least our microphone etiquette has hopefully improved.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to that one, see how we were doing. Anyway, the show I have this week is Jesus for Mayor, which is the title you gave me. I have set it from the years of 0 to 34 AD. Because
awesome.
I basically, if you've seen the movie Life of Brian, this is like my take on Life of Brian. This is a guy who was born on the same day as Jesus, as in the Christian Jesus, If you were a Christian or Catholic, you should be aware of who that is.
Well, he's actually Jewish, Jake. I don't know if you know that.
I'm aware of that, but like the religion is based on him. So
yeah.
So if you've seen the movie of Life of Brian, that's kind of the gimmick in that. Though I've done, it's not similar to Life of Brian. Life of Brian's kind of like about like this like Jewish rebellion and jokes about him being the savior and all this kind of stuff. Funny movie, you should watch it. Monty Python.
Wait, Jake.
Life of Brian.
Wait, you're a Monty Python fan? I didn't know that.
I don't know if we've talked about that on the show. I probably have.
You have talked about Monty Python to such an extent. I know you're a Monty Python fan.
I know you're aware.
Sarcastic.
I don't know how much I talk about it on the show, to be honest. I know I talk about Batman a lot.
We've talked about it a lot.
Okay, I have.
We've talked about Batman a lot, also.
Well, without further ado, Charlie, this is a movie. So get strapped in, get excited, get your popcorn out, because we're opening with Mary, the mother of Jesus and Joseph, arriving at the inn. This is all like done very seriously. Like this is like a serious Christian movie. And they arrive at the inn, and the innkeeper tells them that they have one room left, and they're both really excited. But behind them in line, Charlie, is Job and Melinda. Melinda is also pregnant and is far more realistic about it than Mary. Melinda is very upset and angry, and she's having a rough time.
Yeah,
and she's vocal about it.
Like that idea.
And Mary is, she's the mother of God, so she's super, chill and relaxed about the whole thing.
She's all austere. All of her clothes are very nicely print. Like every portrait of Mary in every church on the planet. She looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then you get Melinda, who's like, she's sweating, her hair's sticking to her forehead, her clothes
she's screaming
are like,
at Job. It's a mess.
Yeah, half hanging off her shoulder. She's just pissed.
And she's crying and yelling at Job to get things sorted. And when the innkeeper leaves to check the room that he's going to give to Mary and Joseph, Job chases after him and offers him double if he gives them the room. The innkeeper is hesitant, but Job tells him that Mary and Joseph, he's like, oh, they're actually not Jewish. They're Italian. They just look Jewish. And he's like, oh, really? Okay. I'll pick you guys instead. He's like, all right, sweet. And so he gets the room instead, and Mary and Joseph have to go to the stable. And so the innkeeper sends Mary and Joseph to the stable, and Job and Melinda get the room. Melinda's screaming as a star illuminates in the background above the stable, which pisses her off because it's really bright. And it's
getting in her eyes.
So she tells,
and it's that she's at that point where everything's pissing her off, no matter what.
So it's illuminating like the whole room now, and she's complaining, and she tells Job to shut the light off. And Job walks over to the manger where the wise men are giving their gifts, and he's like, "Hey, can you guys all keep it down and shut off that light? Like it's my wife's trying to give birth, and it's pretty annoying." And when he gets back, he tells them Melinda that there's another couple who are giving birth in the stable, and their kid's named Jesus. And Melinda's like, that's actually a pretty great name. So she, when he gets back, like the baby's been born, and she's just holding it. She's like, you know what, that's a great name. And you know what, I think I'll name my kid Jesus too, and he'll grow up to be twice the man as that other Jesus. Yeah. Cut to 30 years later, where to make things easier, Charlie, from now on, I'm gonna be calling the Jesus that was just born to Melinda and Job Jesus, and the Jesus that is the real historical Jesus, I'm gonna refer to as Jesus. So he
could be Jesus.
Yeah, because he is. So cut to 30 years later, where Jesus is shoveling shit out of a city when his buddy Isaiah comes up and says there's a bunch of starving people in the desert and they can go bring them food. Jesus is like, hell yeah, that's great. So the two get out there with a donkey cart with tons of food, and they arrive and they start demanding like tons of money from all the people, and they keep increasing the price of the food because of the scarcity. They want to try to get like a high price. So like at first it seems like they're coming to like do a good deed and like bring these people in the desert food, but it's just it's a scheme. They're just trying to make money. So at first they're selling, and they're with great success, making a ton of money, but they run out of luck because suddenly everybody has plenty of fish and bread. So this is
son of a bitch.
This is a famous biblical moment where Jesus makes a bunch of loaves of bread and fish. And so now they're like, oh, fuck, okay, shit. Now we have all this food that we can't sell now. We've made some money, but not really as much as we were hoping. And so they're disheartened, and Jesus kicks Isaiah and is like, calls him an idiot. He's like, you fucking lied to me, said they didn't have any food, and they have all this food. Like, what are you telling me, Jesus? So he says this is just like the feast at Cana all over again, where they brought all that wine only to find out the host had a bunch of wine already. That's another famous biblical moment where Jesus turned water into wine. So it's the reoccurring thing where they get like screwed over by Jesus's miracles a lot. Like Jesus and Isaiah try to pull all these schemes to make money, and like a miracle happens and they get screwed over.
Maybe they're trying to convince Lazarus's wife to buy a really expensive coffin for him, and like a really
I'll get into Lazarus later. Lazarus is features in this story.
All right.
So they get back to the tavern. They start drinking, and Jesus gets ripped out of his seat by a moneylender who owes a shit ton of money. If you're for your knowledge, Charlie, this moneylender, he's quite short. He may feature in Jesus's normal story. This whole movie, if you don't know anything about the Bible, it's there's a lot of things that aren't going to be as funny. But so they're drinking.
It's not like it's a well-known story.
He gets accosted by this short moneylender who's got like this big bodyguard. And apparently Jesus owes this guy a ton of money, and he gets his ass beat by the bodyguard and is told that he needs to come up with 10,000 gold by the end of the month, or it'll be his head. So we now go through a couple different schemes that he tries out. So one of his first schemes is he's going to try to give his own Sermon on the Mount. So like selling tickets. Like everyone's already heard of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, where he gave a big speech on the Mount and gave all the stuff that he said. It was cool and important, and people liked it. And so he's like, I'll give Sermon on the Mount 2, you know? Everyone loves a sequel, you know? Terminator 2, Alien, what was it? Alien Revelations or something like that? I don't remember. Aliens. Oh, yeah, Aliens was the sequel to Aliens. Alien. Fucking, what else? What other movies have seen? Iron Man 2, you know, everyone's favorite Iron Man 2,
the best, my favorite one. Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For, your favorite movie.
Spaceballs, the new one. That's coming out, I think.
The new one. What else? Avengers Age of Ultron.
Everyone's favorite second Avengers movie. Yeah. So all those great sequels, he's doing a sequel. So people love that nostalgia bait, you know? He sells tickets to it because he's like, you know, this is how I'm going to make money. And he gets up there and people are disappointed and gets booed off immediately. And they storm his like cart where he has all the money and they steal all the money because they want refunds. So doesn't go well. So then he's walking on the road and he robs a Samaritan and leaves him for dead. He starts selling snake oil cures for leprosy, but he starts finding out that all the lepers have been cured already, so none of them will buy it. Like, so he goes up to like the leper side of town and he's like, I've got a cure for leprosy, and they're all like, yeah, man, I already got one. Like, what do you mean you already got one? It's like, yeah, we're all cured now. What do you mean you're all cured? Yeah, this guy, Jesus came in, you know, we're all good. It's like, what?
Yeah, this is actually the healthiest neighborhood in the city now.
yeah, we've all got businesses, you know, Bill's got a 401k now. It's all going pretty well.
Yeah. We've got a Taco Bell. They just opened up a Chipotle. It's awesome.
He also starts doing like a circus trick where he like fakes walks on water by setting up like a footpath into the water, but people call him out because they're like, all right, walk 2 steps to the right. He's like, no, I can only walk out and back in. That's all I can do. I don't need to prove it. If you don't believe in me, then you're not
then you're
faithful.
You're gonna burn in hell.
Like, we're Jewish, we don't believe in hell. It's like, I don't know, something else, I suppose.
You're gonna do what's the bad thing? Whatever the worst thing is, will happen to you. Maybe somebody could be like drowning and they're like, oh, quick, walk on water and go save them. And he's like, well,
he's meant to die. It's God's will that he dies. They're like, what? No, it's a child. Go out there and save him. Like, what are you doing? Go walk on water and save him. He's like,
it's a 1 day thing. I can only do it once a day. I have to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So if you think he's gonna be here in 8 hours after I get a quick quick sleep in, then yeah, sure, I'll be able to save him or whatever.
Yeah, does not go well. So none of these schemes work, Charlie, and he feels useless. So Isaiah and him are out drinking in a tavern in Jerusalem, lamenting that his death is soon to come, when a bunch of Roman centurions come in and drag out a man in the corner. It's Job, Jesus' dad, Charlie. So Jesus follows him out and is arguing for his dad's release. But Job's like, no, son, don't worry about this. I got this. And he pulls out a piece of paper and hands it to the Roman centurions. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. Like, we'll get you a drink. Like, we're really sorry. Like, we shouldn't. We didn't know who you were. And Jesus is confused. And Job explains that, yeah, his real name's not Job. His real name is Giovanni, and he's actually Italian, and so is Melinda. But they just moved to Jerusalem because of like the reduced cost, like the rent's lower, and they changed their names so they wouldn't be hassled by the locals for being Italian. So they're like, yeah, we just we thought it'd be cheaper, so we moved here. Rome, the rent in Rome's crazy, man. Like 1 bedroom in Rome it's insane. You can't cover that.
It's ridiculous, and it's no place to raise a child. I wanted somewhere where you could run free. It's like I hated my childhood.
It was terrible.
Oh, well.
I was shoveling poop all the time.
You can't win them all.
Rome's worse. Emperor might lose his mind and start cutting people's heads off,
Yeah, you wouldn't want to live with all those people and culture and women. No. You much prefer shoveling shit all day, every day, for the rest of your life until you're dead. Okay, Dad, I guess.
I guess that's what you say. So the three go, so the Isaiah, Job, and Jesus go back inside. And they start drinking heavily with the Romans. And they have this crazy night on the town, kicking over stalls in the temple, defacing property, accidentally killing this guy named Lazarus, etc. And in the wee hours of the morning, Jesus confesses to the Roman captain that he's a dead man and that he's going to be killed by a moneylender. And the Roman tells him that, you ought to just run from mayor. As long as you hold public office, your debtors can't touch you. So, just like, fuck it, run for mayor. He's drunk saying this. Like, it's like only like half serious what he's saying. Or mostly a joke. And Jesus is like, that's a brilliant idea, man. Oh, fuck it. I'm going to get right on it. And so he runs a rampant campaign based on his Italian parentage, making posters and speeches, but nobody cares. Nobody's like, no, we don't want like a Roman mayor. Like, no one cares. And everyone is too busy putting out palms for Jesus as well as he enters the city. And at this point, he realizes that he needs to capitalize on his and Jesus's shared name. So instead of, running as Jesus, the Italian guy that grew up in Jerusalem, he starts running as Jesus. And he acts like he's Jesus running for mayor. And he turns all of his advertising towards that, even dressing up like Jesus, takes out massive loans. So now he's like super in debt and starts bribing church officials and Romans like crazy. But he ends up pissing off the leader of the church because he figures out that the leader of the church thought he was figured out that he was going to cheat him out of the bribe money last second. And so the leader of the church threatens to kill him, but he runs off and hides with Isaiah before the church leader and the debtors can find him. And in the morning when he finally tries to sneak out, he hears that Jesus has been arrested for all of Jesus's crimes. He's like, oh crap, and like Jesus is like, been put in prison and he's gonna be crucified, and he's like, oh, this is terrible. And they run into the moneylender. He's like, oh my god, but I'm not even able to do anything about it because the moneylender's gonna kill me. And the moneylender's like, oh no, your debt's been forgiven, and he explains the story of how he starts explaining the story of how Jesus like convinced him to be like a better guy. But he's like, yeah, I don't really care about that. I'm just glad my debt's gone. That's sweet. All right, we gotta go. And so him and Isaiah, they're like, should I turn myself in? Like, I don't know. And Jesus is pretty hesitant about it because he's like, I know it's the right thing to do, but I don't want to die. And he's like, you know what? Actually, they've got that holiday coming up where they get to vote for somebody to be let out of prison. Everyone's surely going to vote for Jesus to come out. And if they switch it to me, they're not going to vote for me. So let's just get drunk and have a nice time. And surely they're going to pick Jesus and not pick that other mass murderer guy to be let out of prison.
Yeah.
So they get super drunk and they wake up the next morning to learn that Jesus was crucified. And Jesus is like, oh my God. Oh, that's a relief, man. I would have been killed. That's crazy. Oh, it's good I didn't turn myself in, or I would have been crucified. That's a really shitty way to go. Because if they saw me too, they definitely would have crucified me. If they were going to kill Jesus, they would have definitely hung me.
He was way nicer than I am. And he's got those
as he's
abs.
saying all this, Isaiah points out that he's like, yeah, but they don't crucify Italians. And Jesus is like, oh yeah, it's a good point. I would have been let go. Oh well, you want to go shoot some dice? He's like, oh yeah, sure. And they end up going on a 3-day bender as the credits roll. And they do not fall hungover until the 3rd day. So that's my movie, Jesus for Mayor.
I love that. That's awesome.
Nice little story about a guy that was born the same day as Jesus and uses it to his advantage, money-wise, and
lives longer.
And does. He lives longer. He does.
And some would argue a more fulfilling life.
I don't know about that.
Because he kisses girls and has friends. Jesus doesn't have friends. You ever think about that? It feels sad.
He's got 12 friends.
They're apostles. They're like they listen to him. That's not a friend. Jake, if I just followed you around and listened to everything you said and was like, God, this guy's great, would I be your friend, or would I just be a lackey,
Lackeys are friends, lackeys can be friends. It's his crew. It's his posse.
His entourage. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that friendship, in my eyes, in order for a real friendship to exist, there has to be a level of like we're equal. We're not like
but you can't be equal with God. It's like come
exactly.
on.
That's why he doesn't have any friends. He's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. Jesus has friends. Mate.
Jesus has got one friend.
Yeah.
Jesus has got a single friend. Yeah.
But he's a fucking ride or die. That's a real friend.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a very good friend.
I suppose he's got that on Jesus. Everything else he does not have.
No.
Besides he doesn't even. I mean, Jesus comes back to life though, so does that count?
Yeah, but then he has to go live with his
dad. Died, I suppose. Oh yeah, and that's the true punishment is living with your dad.
Yeah, being forced to move in with your father at 33. That is the truest hell of them all.
Maybe that's how the show should end, like in the credits, like he has to move back in with Job.
Yeah. And Job is like, finally, I could be Italian, and then the house just is the most stereotypical Italian household you've ever seen in your entire life. There's a Nona, and he's like, where'd the Nona come from? She just showed up. It's fine. Shut up. Hand motions all the time, 24/7.
Yeah, I didn't explain this, but like he's also not Italian. He's like American Italian.
Oh, okay, good. He's like
so it's like over the top. He's also very clearly American Italian the entire time.
Yeah.
Like even in the beginning when he lies and says that he's Jewish and Mary and Joseph are Italian, and that's why.
Could we get the guy who's in The Sopranos? The young guy. Who's the youngest guy in The Sopranos? I can't remember his character's name off the top of my head.
I know who you're talking about though. Yeah, that guy is like a mental breakdown at one point.
Christopher Michael Imperioli.
Yeah,
he can play Job, and I think if you were like just fucking really make it Italian, he'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my initial idea for the title Jesus for Mayor?
Yeah, what's your idea?
My idea was like a Big Lebowski, because it was also a movie. I don't think Jesus for Mayor works for a TV show title, really, because it's too specific. It was like a Big Lebowski style, like stoner comedy, where Jesus comes back to life, like he resurrects, but instead of doing the whole like rapture thing, he decides to run for mayor of a very small town in like the Midwest. And it's just him like going around like trying to get signatures and getting into all sorts of fun, kooky adventures with the silly members of this small rural Midwestern town. But I think I like yours more. I think mine's been done in one way or another enough. But I mean, I haven't watched Life of Brian, but I like your idea more than mine, for sure.
Well, that's your homework, Charlie. Please watch Life of Brian along with the listeners. Great movie.
I will.
Does the story that I just conveyed better than I conveyed it.
Well, yeah, but we're a podcast. They're a
very funny comedic troupe
like
with money.
Our Oscar award-winning comedy troupe that was successful for decades.
Yeah. And it's only slightly better.
yeah. Ours is like, jokes. It's pretty close. But not exactly. It's just because they have a higher production budget. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And that's, as we know, the more money you have, the better the art is. That's why Zack Snyder's Justice League cost close to $500 million and is the greatest movie ever made.
Exactly. Same with his like weird zombie thing.
That zombie movie no one watched, or the fake Star Wars he did.
That was basically Star Wars. Yeah.
I watched both those movies. Did you ever see any of the Rebel Moon movies?
No.
They're fucking.
There's more than one?
There's two. There's a Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2. I fucking forget. I remember the second one is titled Rebel Moon The Scar Child or something like that. I don't remember. It's stupid. They're so bad. Those movies are so boring and poorly written and poorly acted, and the action's really bad. It's just, and they're ugly. They're really bad movies. I love them because I just find it so funny that they really thought that was gonna be a thing. Like, I remember
they didn't even get like a theatrical release. I think it was just on Netflix.
It was just on Netflix, but there was a Rebel Moon video game. There is a VR place that just opened up next door to where I work, and they're like one of the big VR titles that they are pushing, like for the people to play, is the Rebel Moon VR game.
But why?
I don't know. It's one of those like VR places where it's like they give you like a fake gun and you get a vest and it's a whole thing. It's not just like a video
laser
game.
Tag.
Yeah, basically. And the Rebel Moon VR game is big in there. I remember when Rebel Moon comic books were all over the place, and there was Rebel Moon merch everywhere. And I went to like a geek store a few weeks back, and it was all like 90% off. It's so funny. I love just watching that that $300 million investment just go right down the fucking toilet. It's so funny to me. But if Zack Snyder wants to give us a job, or if Netflix wants to give us a job, I take it all back, and Rebel Moon's actually my favorite movie series of all time, and I think they deserve a sequel.
All right, I looked up some details about Rebel Moon. So the title is called Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, which is a long title.
Yeah.
But the director's cut is called Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood.
Oh my god.
Why is there different titles?
Because Zack Snyder doesn't know how to hire an editor.
Part 2 is called The Scar Giver.
The Scar Giver.
So the second movie is called Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver.
Yeah.
But the director's cut is called Rebel Moon Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness.
God.
Why is there different names?
So stupid. Because there's no difference between the fucking PG-13 cuts and the R-rated cuts besides, like, there's a bit more blood. But even then, the action is so poorly directed that it doesn't matter if you make it gorier, it's still lame. It's just not so bad, and they're so dull, and there's nothing interesting about anything in those movies. But it's funny. They're funny. They made me, watching those movies made me like Solo more in retrospect. Because
I think Solo's a decent. It's like it's not a good Star Wars movie, but it's a decent movie.
Yeah, I put it at a 5.
Sense.
To me, it's a 5. Like, it's got some cool stuff. It's got some lame stuff. They never go to a casino planet, which, as you know, is my favorite thing. They could do
a casino. They play Baccarat or whatever.
Yeah, but that's
not Baccarat. Whatever the fake whatever game is. But that was actually a decent. That was like an okay scene.
Yeah, but it needs to be a casino planet, and they need to be there for 45 minutes.
Casino planet that has nothing to do with the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah, and then they need to ride space horses on the side of a spaceship or whatever as it's falling down or whatever. I can't fucking remember what happens.
What was the point of? Because we're talking about The Last Jedi now.
Yeah.
What was the point of the casino planet? What happened on there that was important for the rest of the plot?
They went to the casino planet to get a hacker so that they could hack into the Imperial code so that they could get to a planet, right?
Yeah, but they were already running away from the Star Destroyer, and then they just fired a bunch of escape pods and then fired their ship in through the Star Destroyer. Why didn't they just do that to start off with? I don't remember.
Because no one thought to do that. Everyone's stupid in Star Wars until the cameras are on. That is a really good way of actually thinking about Star Wars. Everyone's a fucking moron until they turn the cameras on. And when the cameras are turned away from those characters, they revert back to being stupid. That's why the only time you see Princess Leia in the fucking Rise of Skywalker is when she's like doing that weird force like flying through the air. Remember that? That's a good scene.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I like that scene.
Those movies are weird. I don't know.
But
anyway, that's the podcast. We pitch TV shows and stuff.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Longwing. As always, been my co-host, Sarah, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jake McGough. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. And remember, we'll be here next week with a brand new televisual series for you to imagine and enjoy. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Oh, we didn't tell them the next title, Charlie.
Oh, shit, we didn't. What's the next title, Jake? Tell me. What is
Charlie,
it?
Your next title, which I've already told you, is Old Walls. Ooh, Old Walls.
And you remember what you told me right after you told me that title?
No.
You said, every other title I have written down here is way more interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everything around it was super cool.
Yeah. Well, I actually think Old Walls gives me an opportunity to revisit a show that I really liked that we did a while ago. Digital Walls, which I was telling you about off camera, off mic.
Yeah.
Off the record.
I would like to see that back, because I only kind of vaguely remember Digital Walls, but I remember it being good.
I don't remember anything about it except for the fact that one of the main characters was a monkey. It's all I remember about it. I think that one was like the predecessor to wasn't there a cyberpunk chimp show that I did, whatever. It's like the predecessor to that. I just remember that one of the main characters is a monkey, and there's like digital constructs people live in, or VR or something. I don't really remember. I have to re-listen to it. And if I do end up doing a sequel to it with Old Walls, I'll actually re-listen to Digital Walls. I won't just bullshit it like I did with the
with the last one.
PRV.
Yeah.
But thank you all for listening, and please have a good night.